The hushed, almost reverent silence of Northwood University's Neuroscience department was a familiar comfort to Dr. Lena Vance. In her early 20s, Lena moved through the gleaming labs with a quiet confidence, her white cane tapping a soft rhythm against the polished floors. She was blind, yet possessed an extraordinary, intuitive understanding of complex neurological pathways, a perception that transcended sight. Her mind, a brilliant tapestry of interwoven logic and intuition, held a photographic memory not for images, but for sounds, textures, and the minute electrical pulses that hummed beneath the surface of the physical world. She had lost her sight tragically as a young child due to a rare, aggressive neurological condition, an event that, paradoxically, had sparked her lifelong obsession with neuroscience, a fierce determination to unravel the brain's deepest mysteries. She dreamed of pursuing cutting-edge neurological research, of finding cures where others saw only darkness. Her daily routine was a meticulously orchestrated dance. Her white cane was an extension of her being, guiding her through the intricate labyrinth of her environment, her heightened senses painting a vibrant, three-dimensional map in her mind. Her slender fingers, perpetually discerning, would trace intricate patterns on a lab bench, feel the subtle vibrations of a humming machine, or detect the minute textures on a patient's skin, gathering data invisible to the eye. Her heightened sense of hearing picked up minute biological sounds, the almost imperceptible click of a neuron firing, the subtle tremor in a hand, the nuanced cadence of a heart murmur, sounds that spoke volumes to her trained ear. Socially, she often found herself isolated. Sighted peers, accustomed to visual learning, often misunderstood her quiet intensity, her unique methods of perception. She would retreat into her internal world of scientific puzzles, a vast, luminous space where complex theories unfolded with elegant precision. Despite her own anxieties about her future and the immense challenges of a career in a visually dominated field, Lena possessed a profound generosity of spirit. She volunteered her limited time at a local community center, dedicating hours to reading complex scientific textbooks aloud, using braille and meticulously crafted tactile diagrams, to a group of struggling, visually impaired high school students. She patiently explained intricate concepts, translating abstract theories into tangible understanding. She refused any payment, her only reward, the dawning comprehension on the students' faces. This selfless act highlighted her deep commitment to knowledge sharing and empowering others, a quiet beacon of light in a world that often overlooked the truly gifted. Subtle threads of mystery were woven into Lena's quiet existence, hints of a profound inherited legacy. Around her neck, hidden beneath her simple blouse, she occasionally touched a small, tarnished silver locket. Inside, nestled against her heart, was a faded schematic of a complex neural network, an intricate diagram that pulsed with an almost imperceptible energy. She frequently received anonymous, encrypted emails, their contents always obscure neurological research papers or cryptic clinical trial data, hinting at a hidden connection or a watchful protector. Sometimes, in the quiet solitude of her small apartment, she would mutter cryptic phrases in her sleep. Unseen connections, rewiring the mind, synaptic resonance, fragments of groundbreaking theories that consumed her subconscious. Her personal computer, a powerful machine disguised as an ordinary desktop, ran a unique, highly complex neuromodeling program she designed herself, capable of simulating intricate brain functions and predicting neurological anomalies that eluded conventional methods. This unassuming blind woman, with her quiet demeanor and seemingly ordinary life, was, in fact, the silent architect of a potential medical revolution, a genius whose perceptions transcended the limitations of sight. The hallowed halls of Northwood University, a beacon of academic excellence and groundbreaking research, felt like an impenetrable fortress to Lena. She had submitted her application to their prestigious neuroscience program, renowned for its cutting-edge research and world-leading faculty. Her academic record was exceptional, her research proposals innovative, her letters of recommendation glowing. Yet she knew, with a gnawing certainty, that her blindness would be the immediate, unyielding barrier. The gatekeeper of this fortress was Dean Alistair Thorne, the Dean of Admissions and a celebrated neuroscientist in his own right. Thorne was a man of immense intellect, but also deeply prejudiced and rigidly traditional. He held an unwavering conviction that cutting-edge neurological research demanded uninhibited visual observation, a discerning eye to interpret complex imaging and subtle cellular interactions. He dismissed Lena's potential outright, viewing her blindness not as a challenge to be overcome, but as an inherent, insurmountable limitation. To him, she was a nuisance, a token diversity applicant forced upon him by university policy, easily dismissed. Unbeknownst to anyone, Dean Thorne secretly struggled with a rare, insidious neurological illness of his own, manifesting in subtle tremors and a creeping cognitive decline. He meticulously hid his condition, terrified it would ruin his stellar reputation and jeopardize his standing in the academic world. His own hidden fear of vulnerability only fueled his rigid adherence to conventional methods and his disdain for anything that challenged his established order. Dean Thorne personally interviewed Lena, his gaze cold and dismissive. He barely glanced at her intricate research proposals, dismissing them as impractical, her innovative methods as unconventional, and her very ambition as naive, given her lack of vision. His words were a public rejection, a calculated humiliation. "Miss Vance," he stated, his voice laced with condescension, "while your academic record is commendable, the rigors of true neurological insight demand a discerning eye. This field, the delicate dance of neurons and synapses, is primarily visual. Your limitations would simply impede your progress and, frankly, our program's reputation. True scientific observation requires a discerning eye." He made it clear that her blindness made her inherently incapable of true scientific expression, asserting that true neurological insight requires a discerning eye. He saw her as nothing more than a token applicant he could easily dismiss. Lena was utterly devastated by the rejection. The words, delivered with such cold finality, felt like a physical blow. Her dream, her lifelong pursuit, seemed to shatter into a million pieces. But the profound injustice, the casual cruelty of his bias, ignited a fierce, unyielding resolve within her. She would not be defined by her limitations. She would prove him wrong, not just for herself, but for all those dismissed and marginalized due to perceived disabilities. She vowed to pursue her research independently, whatever the cost, even as her meager resources dwindled. This act of defiance, this unwavering commitment to her vision despite overwhelming odds, was her point of no return. She would forge her own path, determined to find answers in the unseen pathways of the mind, a path that would, ironically, lead her directly back to Dean Thorne. The quiet hum of the specialized equipment in Lena's makeshift lab, her small apartment meticulously reconfigured, was a stark contrast to the sterile, gleaming halls of Northwood University. Fueled by a fierce resolve ignited by Dean Thorne's arrogant rejection, Lena dedicated herself to her independent research. She meticulously built upon her unique neuromodeling program, refining its algorithms, feeding it countless hours of data. Her goal: to create a breakthrough diagnostic algorithm capable of detecting subtle neurological anomalies that evaded traditional scanning methods, abnormalities too minute, too nuanced for the human eye, no matter how discerning. Meanwhile, in his opulent university office, Dean Thorne's neurological illness secretly worsened. The subtle tremors in his hands became more pronounced, betraying his carefully cultivated composure. Memory lapses, initially fleeting and easily dismissed, grew more frequent, causing him moments of public embarrassment he desperately tried to conceal. His cognitive decline, a creeping fog over his brilliant mind, filled him with a gnawing panic. He grew increasingly paranoid, terrified his condition would be discovered and ruin his impeccable reputation. He secretly, desperately attempted to develop a new diagnostic method, hoping to cure himself. But his own traditional, visually biased methods were fundamentally flawed, unable to detect the elusive, rare neurological signature that plagued him. The opportunity for Lena's quiet unveiling arrived at a small public science fair hosted by a local community college, a modest event Dean Thorne was forced to attend for a mandatory public appearance. Lena, camouflaged amongst amateur displays, showcased a prototype of her diagnostic algorithm, disguised as a pattern recognition tool for public engagement. She spoke with quiet enthusiasm, demonstrating how it could analyze complex data sets. Dean Thorne, striding past her booth, his usual disdain evident, dismissed her work as simplistic, a quaint academic exercise. He scoffed at her lack of real-world application. However, as he leaned over Lena's display to offer a condescending remark, his hand, trembling almost imperceptibly, accidentally brushed against Lena's device, a small, unassuming black box connected to her laptop. For a fleeting second, the device registered a unique, previously unseen neurological signature, the very anomaly affecting Thorne. Lena, with her heightened senses and intuitive understanding of neurological patterns, immediately recognized it. It was an extremely rare neurological marker, a signature she had only read about in obscure theoretical research papers, a genetic anomaly linked to a highly specific, inherited condition. The tarnished locket around her neck, containing the faded schematic of a complex neural network, felt strangely warm, almost vibrating against her skin. She knew with chilling certainty what she had just found: the precise, undeniable signature of Dean Thorne's hidden illness, and by extension, the very cure. Dean Thorne, irritated by the accidental interaction and sensing no significance in the humble device, quickly dismissed Lena's display as unimpressive and lacking real-world application. He made a condescending remark about amateur science and left, completely unaware that he had just encountered the cure for his own hidden illness, his arrogance blinding him to the very truth that could save him. Meanwhile, a kind, observant professor from Northwood University, Dr. Ben Carter, had quietly entered the fair. He had been a rare advocate for Lena's admission, recognizing her exceptional intellect despite her blindness. He subtly observed the interaction between Lena and Dean Thorne. He noticed Lena's sudden, profound focus, the almost imperceptible tremor in Dean Thorne's hand, and the unusual shift in Thorne's expression. He sensed a deeper connection, a hidden truth beneath the dismissive words. He knew Dean Thorne was ill, though not the specifics, and he had witnessed Lena's genius firsthand. He watched, a silent helper, the pieces of a complex puzzle slowly beginning to align in his mind. The opulent, hushed corridors of Northwood University, usually a source of Dean Alistair Thorne's profound satisfaction, now felt like a gilded prison. His neurological condition, once a subtle tremor, was rapidly accelerating. His hands now shook visibly, betraying his meticulous efforts to conceal his illness. Memory lapses became more frequent and public, causing moments of humiliating confusion during departmental meetings and lectures. His cognitive clarity, the very foundation of his academic brilliance, was dissolving into a terrifying fog. He grew increasingly desperate, his secret attempts to self-diagnose and self-treat failing spectacularly, only worsening his condition. His stellar reputation, and the university's imminent massive research grant, a grant contingent on his flawless keynote address at the upcoming symposium, were at grave risk if his illness were exposed. The fear of public humiliation, of losing everything he had built, consumed him. Lena, meanwhile, held the agonizing key to his cure. She knew, with chilling certainty, the precise nature of Dean Thorne's rare neurological illness and the revolutionary therapy she had developed. But reaching him was a labyrinthine challenge. He had publicly humiliated her, dismissing her genius and her very ambition due to her blindness. His towering arrogance would prevent him from ever seeking help from a blind failure he had so casually scorned. Lena grappled with a profound ethical dilemma: her duty as a scientist to offer a cure versus her personal desire for vindication against the man who had tried to crush her. The weight of his suffering, however, began to outweigh her personal grievances. The battlefield for this inevitable confrontation was Northwood University's annual Neuroscience Symposium, a highly anticipated major event drawing leading experts and potential donors from around the globe. Dean Thorne was scheduled to deliver the critical keynote address, a speech vital to securing the university's massive research grant. This was a symbolic arena, the very place he had dismissed Lena, where she must now, against all odds, confront him, not with anger, but with a cure. The time limit was brutal. Dean Thorne's condition was deteriorating rapidly. He had a limited window, a few hours at most, before his cognitive abilities would severely impact his ability to deliver the keynote, threatening the university's grant and sealing his professional ruin. Lena knew she had to intervene during this critical window before it was too late for him, and for her own sense of moral obligation. Just as Lena wrestled with this impossible decision, Dr. Ben Carter, the kind, observant professor who had always advocated for Lena's admission, approached her. He had witnessed Dean Thorne's rapid decline with growing concern, noting the increasing severity of his tremors and his public cognitive lapses. He knew Thorne was ill, though he didn't know the specifics. His compassion overriding his professional caution, Dr. Carter covertly approached Lena. He expressed his deep concern for Dean Thorne, acknowledging his arrogance but appealing directly to Lena's known compassion. "Lena," he began, his voice low and urgent, "I know what Thorne did to you, and he deserves much of what he gets. But he's truly unwell. I don't know what it is, but it's severe. If anyone can help him, it's you. Will you consider it? For the sake of science, for the sake of humanity?" He offered his assistance, unknowingly becoming her vital link to the dean, her quiet helper in a profoundly ethical dilemma. Lena looked at him, then at the schematic in her locket, the subtle pattern of the cure swirling in her mind, and knew what she had to do. The vast auditorium of Northwood University's Neuroscience Symposium, usually a bastion of academic decorum, was rapidly devolving into a scene of chaotic concern. Dean Alistair Thorne, once a figure of towering intellectual authority, now stood at the podium, a painful spectacle. His tremors, once subtle, had become uncontrollable, his hands shaking violently as he clutched the microphone. Memory lapses, once fleeting, were now public and agonizing, his words slurring, his critical keynote address for the university's massive research grant devolving into a painful public display of his rapidly worsening illness. The grant, and with it, the university's reputation, was slipping away. Gasps rippled through the stunned audience of renowned scientists, worried donors, and ambitious academics. Just as a flustered university administrator moved to discreetly escort him from the stage, Lena Vance, guided by Dr. Ben Carter, stepped forward from the shadows at the side of the stage. Her presence, quiet yet commanding, drew every eye. She carried her laptop, its screen glowing with intricate neurological patterns. She didn't just present a cure. She orchestrated a profound multisensory revelation. Her voice, clear and resonant, filled the auditorium. "Ladies and gentlemen," Lena began, her tone calm and authoritative, "Dean Thorne is not disoriented. He is suffering from a rare, aggressive form of inherited neurological degeneration." On the massive screen behind her, seamlessly projected from her laptop, a beautiful, swirling holographic image of a human brain appeared. It was not a generic image. It was a precise, tactile, multi-sensory projection of Dean Thorne's own unique neurological signature, rendered in real time, its anomalies pulsing with subtle light and sound frequencies. She meticulously demonstrated, through this immersive projection, the precise nature of his rare condition, her fingers, guided by her heightened senses, tracing the affected pathways on a tactile pad beside her laptop, a symphony of unseen perception. She explained how her diagnostic algorithm, developed independently, had identified this unique neurological signature, a pattern so intricate it had eluded every conventional scanning method. "This signature," Lena stated, her voice gaining a chilling precision, "matches a schematic from decades ago. A schematic," she paused, her hand going to the tarnished locket around her neck, "from my grandmother's lost research. And it also matches," she looked pointedly at Thorne, "a hidden genetic marker within the Thorne family lineage." Then came the astonishing climax. Lena unveiled a revolutionary, non-invasive therapy. It wasn't a drug or a surgery, but a precise application of modulated light and sound frequencies, a direct application of her chromatic resonance device, a perfected version of her grandmother's stolen invention. With a quiet command, a subtle interplay of light and sound began to emit from hidden projectors Lena had pre-calibrated. The frequencies, imperceptible to most, enveloped Dean Thorne. His body, which had been racked with tremors, immediately began to still. His eyes, once clouded with confusion, cleared with astonishing speed. The transformation was profound, undeniable. Dean Alistair Thorne, his mind now shockingly clear, looked at Lena, then at the schematic on the screen. He recognized its unique signature, a signature from his own family's lost research, a secret he had tried to suppress and bury. He recognized the specific genetic marker that linked him to Lena, a distant, almost mythical branch of his own family, a genius he had publicly scorned. The realization that the blind applicant he had dismissed was his own kin, and had just cured him with a technology he had suppressed, utterly shattered his prejudice and his carefully constructed elitism. He gasped, his eyes wide with a mix of awe and profound, agonizing shame. He attempted to speak, to confess his arrogance, his past dismissal, but his voice was choked with overwhelming humility and a newfound, searing guilt. He was exposed, not just as ill, but as a prejudiced fool, his intellectual arrogance laid bare. The audience, initially bewildered by Thorne's decline, then mesmerized by Lena's profound, multisensory demonstration, erupted. Stunned silence gave way to a thunderous, emotional standing ovation. Scientists, witnessing the instant cure, were awestruck by the revolutionary technology. Journalists scrambled, their pens flying, capturing every detail. The university president, witnessing the miracle and the clear demonstration of unprecedented genius, immediately rose, his face beaming, and, without a moment's hesitation, offered Lena a full professorship, a blank check for unlimited research funding, and carte blanche to establish her own institute. Lena, vindicated beyond measure, stood tall, her true genius finally seen and celebrated, her vision illuminating a new future for science. The aftermath of Lena Vance's groundbreaking revelation sent seismic tremors through Northwood University and the wider scientific community. Dean Alistair Thorne's public humiliation was swift and absolute. His blatant prejudice, his arrogant dismissal of Lena's genius, and the stunning revelation that his own ancestor, the original Master Thorne, was blind, the true creator of the very echoing form he sought, sparked a furious backlash. He was immediately forced to resign, his career in tatters, his once revered theories now reevaluated and found to be lacking in the very soul and ethical depth that Lena's work profoundly embodied. His elitist worldview, built on a foundation of visual bias, crumbled into dust. For Lena, the triumph was immense, a profound vindication that resonated to her very core. She was no longer just a scholarship student. She was hailed as a prodigy, a revolutionary neuroscientist who had redefined the very concept of vision in both art and science. Her scholarship was not only secured but transformed into an endowed position, offering her unprecedented resources and academic freedom. Offers for collaborations and research grants poured in from prestigious institutions worldwide. She used her newfound platform not for personal glory, but to champion inclusive science, advocating for the power of non-visual perception and challenging the scientific community to broaden its understanding of human potential. More importantly, her groundbreaking therapy provided the precise cure for Dean Thorne's rare neurological condition, a direct application of her chromatic resonance device, ensuring his full recovery. Julian Sterling, deeply impressed by Lena's quiet strength, her unwavering ethical compass, and her undeniable genius, stepped forward to become her primary patron and collaborator. He poured vast resources into her new research institute, a sprawling, state-of-the-art facility equipped with cutting-edge technology designed to enhance multisensory research and ethical neuromodeling. Together, they established a new, inclusive scientific movement, a counterpoint to the traditional, often rigid academic structures. Julian helped her establish a foundation for inclusive neurological research, ensuring that scientists with diverse perceptions had the platform and resources to flourish. One crisp autumn morning, Lena sat with a visibly recovered Dean Thorne in his former office, now transformed into a quiet, contemplative space within Lena's new institute. His tremors were gone, his mind clear, his eyes holding a profound, newfound humility. "Lena," Dean Thorne began, his voice raspy with emotion. "I have no words to express my regret. My arrogance, my prejudice. It blinded me. You not only cured me, but you shattered my entire worldview. You showed me what true vision is." He resigned from his position as dean, choosing instead to become a vocal advocate for inclusive science and non-traditional research methods, funding Lena's work through his personal wealth and vast network. His previous arrogance was replaced by genuine humility, a man transformed by profound understanding. Lena listened, her compassion outweighing her past grievances. She then discussed her family's hidden legacy with him, the deep connection to his own ancestors, the original Master Thorne, the blind artist whose genius had been suppressed for centuries. She revealed how the schematic in her locket, the very cure for his illness, was a historical blueprint, connecting their families through a shared hidden lineage of scientific and artistic genius. She understood that her cure was, in a way, a profound act of forgiveness, her compassion transcending his past cruelty. Dr. Ben Carter, Lena's former professor who had advocated for her admission, now became her trusted research partner and the co-director of her new institute. His quiet support and unwavering belief in Lena's genius were invaluable. Their reflective dialogue, a quiet acknowledgement of the prejudices overcome and the profound truths revealed, underscored the transformative power of Lena's work, not just in science, but in building bridges where walls once stood. The global landscape of neuroscience had undergone a profound transformation. Its traditional boundaries expanded and its perceptions redefined by the visionary influence of Dr. Lena Vance. She was no longer just a world-renowned neuroscientist. She was a revered pioneer, her research revolutionizing the treatment of neurological disorders across continents. Her institute, a beacon of inclusive science nestled within Northwood University, was celebrated for its groundbreaking, compassionate approaches to understanding the human brain, attracting the brightest minds eager to collaborate. Her enduring legacy was etched not just in scientific breakthroughs, but in the countless lives she touched. She established the Unseen Pathways Foundation, a global nonprofit that became a powerful force for good. The foundation poured resources into funding cutting-edge research into neurodiversity, challenging conventional assumptions about brain function, and provided accessible educational resources for aspiring scientists with disabilities, ensuring that no potential was ever overlooked due to perceived limitations. She passionately promoted interdisciplinary research, blending art and science in innovative ways, demonstrating that true understanding often required a multitude of perspectives. Her work had brought solace and solutions to families grappling with neurological conditions, and hope where once there was only despair. Lena never forgot the prejudice she had overcome, or the quiet kindness that had sustained her. She ensured her former high school students, from her Save the Cat moment, had unparalleled access to STEM programs and scholarships, personally mentoring many of them, guiding them towards careers in science and technology. Dean Alistair Thorne, now a healthy elder statesman of science, often lectured at Lena's institute, sharing his powerful story of transformation, from arrogant skeptic to humble advocate, a living testament to Lena's profound impact. Lena also created a series of monumental multisensory exhibits for public education, immersive experiences that allowed people to feel neurological processes through touch, hear the symphony of brainwaves through sound, and sense subtle light patterns generated by neural activity. These exhibits, experienced by blind and sighted visitors alike, fundamentally challenged and expanded societal notions of perception. The story ends on a bright, bustling afternoon. Lena stood in a state-of-the-art neuroimaging lab she had personally designed, its walls shimmering with holographic displays of intricate neural networks. Her face, illuminated by the gentle glow of the screens, was alight with peaceful contentment. On a large, transparent screen, a beautiful, swirling holographic image of a healthy, complex human brain pulsed gently, its intricate pathways glowing with an ethereal light, a profound testament to her understanding of the unseen mind. She touched the silver locket around her neck, its neural network schematic now elegantly intertwined with Northwood University's crest in the Foundation's logo. It was a powerful symbol of a shattered legacy, rebuilt into an enduring monument of compassion, infinite possibility, and the unwavering belief that the greatest visions often come from those who see beyond what is visible to the eye. If this story stirred your heart, if it reminds you that courage can alter destinies and that light always finds a path even in the deepest darkness, please leave a comment. Share this story with those who need inspiration. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to never miss our upcoming stories.